How's it going, guys? Today we're at week 4 of the Startup Tribe Mentorship Program, batch 1. Excited to talk with Angel today about buyer personas, looking at who she's gonna target with OHMANGOSH. Come along. So Angel, today in our class, I want to have a look at your target market.
Yes.
So your target market is who are the people or peoples that you want to reach with your products.
Yes.
So one of the most common mistakes that I see when I deal with our customers with Purple Cow Agency is I'll ask them, who do you want to market to? And they'll say everybody. And that is always the wrong answer.
Yes.
Everybody is never who you want to market to.
Even though you want it.
Yes, you want the sales from everybody, I get that.
Yes.
But why do you think you might want to not market to everybody? Any ideas?
Maybe because they're not like using the product or
So say for example, with your drink. Even though you have the most delicious drinks in the universe, there might be some people that are allergic to mango or people that only are drinking water for health reasons. So not everybody, yes, not everybody is your target market. So you really need to think with the marketing budget that you have, who are the people that are most likely to want to buy your drink? Some of that has to do at times with age, sometimes it could do with gender, sometimes it could do with how much money they make.
Their income like that. Yes.
Absolutely. So you have to think of a lot of different factors to think about who your target customer or target customers are. Make sense?
Yes.
Right.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! In your workbook, we talk about the importance of being specific. Most people are far too general when it comes to thinking of who their target customers are. They just think everybody likes what I have and everybody's gonna buy it. And that's just never the case. Most businesses will find that their #1 challenges are marketing and sales. And if you figure out very specifically who your target customer is, you're going to have a much easier time trying to figure out marketing and sales. Absolutely. So the main thing that I want to look at to help you with this today is what are called buyer personas. So what's a buyer persona? Can you read out loud the first paragraph?
Okay, a buyer persona is a representation of your intended customer based on market research and your understanding of existing ideal customers. It considers customer demographics, buying behavior, objection, solution needs, and other information relevant to them.
So what this worksheet is intended to do is to really help you understand who your buyer personas are.
Yes, your ideal customers.
So most businesses have between 1 to 3 buyer personas. All of them obviously have at least one. Some of them have as many as 5.
Yes.
But you really want to look at who your buyer personas are. And the first one is who. Second main section in putting together our buyer persona for you is looking at what. Third is why. And this really has to do with common objections. You know, why wouldn't they want to buy from you? You know, does it have to do with the ingredients? Does it have to do with being accessible, easy to get?
Yes.
And then we're able to really address those in terms of how you're going to interact with them. Fourth has to do with how. And this is really how would you describe what you offer to your buyer persona or to your target client. And then the last one with how is your elevator pitch. And really what this is normally is a 30 to 60 second brief explanation of who you are, what problem you solve, and how you do that. So at the end of the day, or at the end of this week, what I want you to do is think of 1 to 3 buyer personas that are very specific. Give them each a name.
Sure.
You know, it might be Mary Mom, it might be Tommy Teenager. I don't know who they are, but I want you to think through them. And then with everything that we do in the future with product development, you know, what we're gonna say is...
So I will just put like 3 customer or...
1 to 3, but I really want you to, you know, think how many do you really have that have already shown a lot of interest,
yes,
or that you could do research on to know that these buyer personas are most likely to have interest. That sounds great. But what I want you to do with everything we think about in the future after this is think through, when you're doing product development, for example, think through, you know, would Mary Mom like, you know, dragon fruit flavor drink?
Yes.
You know, or would Tommy Teenager like that? Or whoever it is that you come up with when you do marketing. You know, you want to have messages that appeal just to one of those buyer personas at a time. You know, so you're thinking, for example, if you were to do a Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, you know, ad, and you have to fill out who you want to see those ads, you want to be able to use this exact information to be able to put in all of those specific informations about them: income, age, gender, things that they're interested in, you know, other important things about them, and just when you are writing, you know, their background and demographics, you know, what TV shows do they watch? What YouTube channels do they watch? You know, what kind of music do they listen to? And all of this is going to help you to put together a product and advertising that's going to be relevant to them.
Yes.
All right. Any questions?
None so far.
So guys, if you haven't already shown me some love, make sure and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate if you guys would share this video with anyone that you think would find it helpful. In the meantime, time for me to clean up around here and get back to work with Purple Cow. As always, guys, thank you for taking the time to watch, and take care.